Your homies is your homies. Your brothers or your sisters' homies is they homies. Your cousins' homies is they homies. Your mother's homie, your father's homies is they homies. Them not your homies. Everybody that you know is not your homie, right? Everybody that you know is not a friend of yours. Now, I know people use the term friend, they use it very loosely. They say, oh, that's my friend, right? Especially in like content space, industry dynamics. This person is my friend, that person is my friend. But my grandmama always told me, you ain't got no friends. And if you grew up in a black household, your mama, grandmama, granddaddy, somebody told you that you ain't got no friends. And that was to let you know, don't put too much trust into people. Don't sit back and act like somebody has your best interest at heart just because you know them. Because that's what a friend is. A friend is somebody who not only has their best interests at heart, they have yours as well. And they know how to find a middle ground. They know how to find commonality with you where you can either compromise or you can go into something together to get the outcome that best suit the needs of both people involved, right? If you're dealing with a friend, you and another individual on a one-on-one basis, it has to do with what y'all came together to do and how it benefits both people. Now, your homies is your homies. Your brothers or your sisters' homies is they homies. Your cousins' homies is they homies. Your mother's homie, your father's homies is they homies. Them not your homies. You may know who they are. You may have even hung around them in certain situations. It didn't have to be a family gathering or a picnic. You could have been in the street. You could have been on the block. You know what I'm saying? But the friend of your friend ain't always your friend. And the enemy of your enemy ain't always your friend. You understand what I'm saying? You have to understand politics. And that's really all it boils down to is just how do you politic with people? You know what I'm saying? And like, whether you choose to look at it from the lens of a friend or a foe, more than likely this person you know of has come from some sort of past affiliation or past association where you knew of this person not because you personally spent time with them, but somebody else that you were around spent time with this person. And just by happenstance or by proxy, you and this other person have now spent time amongst each other and are cordial with each other. And for the time being, right? Because normally this took place in the past. For that time being, it was acceptable to say, no, I'm cool with this person. Even if you use that term loosely, which I do, oh, so-and-so cool, whatever. You know what I'm saying? We don't have to get into like semantics and like really break down all of these words. But the fact of the matter is, you can't really go off the past. The past is for suckers. Let's just put that out there. If you somebody who's living off the past, you a sucker. Because the past ain't real. It didn't happen the way you thought it happened or the way you think it happened. It happened the way it happened to end up the way it is now. So if you're somebody who's confused about the present or your present association or affiliation with an individual from your past, it's because you think it happened a way that it didn't. You've romanticized the past. Now that can be dangerous. It can be dangerous of us to romanticize the past and go off of past affiliations or past associations with a known individual and call that person a friend or a homie only for them to disappoint you in the present because you're going off of something that you no longer have a connection to. Sometimes there is a disconnect where everything from the past doesn't always align with what's going on in the present. And you have to know the difference. You have to be able to discern whether or not the past is applicable in a certain situation or is not applicable, right? That's what NA stands for. Whenever you got a piece of paper, some sort of document, and they're asking you a question, and whatever they're asking doesn't necessarily apply to you, your past, present, or future, you just have to put not applicable on there. And sometimes you have to put that brand or that stamp on the forehead of a lot of people that you meet. Not applicable, not applicable. Not, like they not your homies. It doesn't apply to them. And sometimes you have to stamp yourself where it don't apply to you, where it don't have to be just friends. It could be family members. You know what I'm saying? Let's get a little bit more deep with the association. Some family members are just associates. They're not your friends. They're not your homies because they don't have your best interests at heart. They're not looking out for you necessarily. You know what I'm saying? And as far as those people are concerned, it can be blinding to you, right? Where the past can project future outcomes in terms of like events, right? So, let's use slavery for an example. It's an easy one. The past of slavery has now affected us in the present because that was such a catastrophic event, such a big thing that happened in history that you can't ignore its direct reflections or some of the residue that is now we deal with in the present, because it got so deep that it permeated everything. And no matter how many of the layers you try to peel back, you still see it there. So that's something different as opposed to an individual. Now, there can also be something that happened in the past with an individual that will make it difficult to deal with them in the future. For example, if you was in a relationship with somebody and they cheated on you, this event took place where you caught this person cheating. And now in the present, you accuse just about any and everybody you deal with as a cheater, or you accuse them of cheating because of something you dealt with in the past. But there is a disconnect there, whether you like it or not. You don't have to see it, but that doesn't mean it's not present. And more than likely it's because you have been blinded by the past.